We back. Yes, sir. What's poppin', everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, good day to everybody just dropping in, having a great day. We're back. This is the Freestyle Friday series that everyone knows and loves. And we're back with another special guest. Every single week, every one of these guests get more textured, more powerful every single week, you know. So we're definitely excited to bring you more amazing conversations, more amazing ambiance, more amazing energy. So definitely feel free as the conversation goes on to be able to drop in and drop some questions. If anybody has any questions for Shep, please throw them in the question box, because as we go on, we'll be able to see that a lot of your questions, a lot of your inquiries are in the question box. So please feel free to show maximum love, you know, please feel free to show maximum appreciation. So we're just standing by, you know, we're going to stand by and just make sure that everything's prepped for this. We got some amazing topics, some amazing questions. As always, my name is GregNWMN. I'm going to be the host for this week's Freestyle Friday. And yeah, hopefully everyone's day is going solid. So we're just going to take a moment and just see who all is in here. You know what I mean? We're gonna build it up, you know. So again, if you have any questions, any inquiries whatsoever, then feel free to throw them in the question box. Bear Shepherd is known as the Hip-Hop Mom, located in Colorado, and she has amazing backstory and an amazing legacy when it comes to her teaching acumen, her creative writing acumen, and I think she's gonna add a lot of value to this live stream. So yeah, we're just gonna take a moment and just rock out real quick. Fantastic. Here we are with the immaculate timing at the end of the record at 3 minutes and 55 seconds in perfect timing. We have Shep in the building. Everybody, please show maximum love. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the question box. Again, my name is...
I'm not going to read them yet, okay?
Oh, yeah, no one's going to read them yet. I'm just going to let you... How are you feeling today?
You're going to have to save your questions, okay?
Yep.
All right. Hey, Greg.
How's it going? How are you?
I love you with your little yellow hat, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that. I feel like it brightens the mood, you know?
Yeah, I almost wore a yellow shirt. We would have been color coordinated.
I was going to send a text. I figured I'd just let you do your thing, you know?
It's all good. My friend told me to tone it down.
Yeah,
she said you might see my face, but she doesn't know anything. So anyway, thanks, Natalie. I love you. So, hey.
Hey, how's it going? So there's a couple topics that we
I'd like to welcome you to radio station KYOU. Did you know I have a radio station?
I had no idea, no.
You're welcome to join me on it sometime.
Yeah, 100%.
KYOU.
KYOU.
We say the call letters all day long, every day, every week. Did you know you were saying radio station KYOU all the time?
No.
Never thought about it? Really?
No, I didn't know. Honestly.
Well, we all say, first we stub our toe, and then we say, FUCKYOU. And then somebody gives us a little sweet treat to eat in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. We say THANKYOU.
Mm-hmm. See, we already started. We're already in the hot seat. So hold on, let me put my cap, make sure it's all tighter. I didn't know we were already in gear. So, let's go.
So we all say KYOU all the time.
100%.
All I'm going to say is this. Whenever you start to say FUC, do a quick switch and say THAN and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Early. Early with the gems. Early. I love it.
Yeah, that's my radio station. I don't know why. I haven't ever heard of any town anywhere that has that for a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
How stupid is that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, you got the message.
Mm-hmm. We got it.
I want to tell you guys, I can't even say how big of a thank you I have to give you.
Oh.
And I have to give it to Lou and Nikki, because thanks to you guys, I've had the most rich week you could ever imagine. I got the word on Monday that I was going to get to give a talk today.
Mm-hmm.
And I plan to talk your arm into a stump, brother. Don't even reach across the table because you won't grab anything. But I'll tell you what.
Oh, no.
I've had a great week. Now, why do I say that? First of all, a teacher is a learner at all times. If I'm not learning something when I'm talking with another person, whether it's a pleasant talk or an unpleasant talk, if I don't come away learning something, I did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've done something wrong. Every exchange on this planet is an opportunity to learn something. Mm-hmm. Not just any old thing, something deep. But we don't usually stop to get it, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hope to inspire you guys today to start looking for those deep things that are all around us all the time. Mm-hmm. Right? One thing I've noticed about hip-hop, and it's why I love it, one of the reasons I love it, is that it goes deep. People don't realize that. They think it's all just about, car boots and booties. Mm-hmm. But that's not all there is to hip-hop. That's the surface. That's the foam on the beer, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's all it is. Mm-hmm. Just the foam on the beer. But you get really into it, and you're going to get stone-ass drunk on it, I promise you, with ever taking a drink. It's going to get you into a different state of mind. And that's what we love about hip-hop. Not just hip-hop. All great music can do this. But hip-hop has a certain faculty for causing one of the most spectacular phenomena on the planet, which is synthesis. Synthesis, okay? Now, all you people, oh, look, Stubby throwing up beers.
You know, he's quick on it. He's quick on it, 100%.
Do you love it? Do you love it, Stubby? Okay, I love it too. Now, synthesis. How do you make beer? It's synthesis, son. You got to take a little of this and a little of that, mix them together, and let them ferment. Mm-hmm. How do you make a flow, all you young writers? You take a little of this and a little of that, mix it together. You are making a mistake, young writers. And here's the mistake you're making. Mm-hmm. You're not letting it ferment. You're writing 16 bars and spitting it the same day. That's what you call green beer. And nobody wants it, okay? You will get a better product if you leave it in the barrel for a while. Come back and look at it, and what do you know? You'll see things you want to change. You'll have a whole lot of ideas in between, and all of a sudden, it will grow right before your eyes from a could have been to a wow.
As opposed to shooting from the hip.
Exactly. Would you really go into a job interview unprepared?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
That's what you're doing when you spit your bars.
So then I would love to take that real quick and then touch on the thoughts of.
Time for you to think. I'll talk while you're thinking.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. So yeah, I believe freestyle, because a lot of it is for a lot of people is off the top. It's off the cuff. It's off the hip.
And for that very reason, it's unpolished, and it might not even float. It might sink like a rock.
So there's a risk being taken.
yes, and that's true of all life. You don't just freestyle your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just freestyle a whole lot of important events in life.
Mm-hmm.
No, you freestyle the idea of it. You brainstorm up the things you might do, and then you choose them. And the better you are, the better chance you have of having something that you're proud of and you remember forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not saying that Biggie couldn't freestyle. What I'm saying is, how many of us are going to come up with, it's all good, baby, baby.
Mm-hmm. Without having that reiteration. So real quick, I would love to see, because I know that there was some competition metaphor Bloom's taxonomy that you were mentioning.
You're slowing me down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Go for it.
I'm gonna be thinking too, but I figure when I slow down to think, that's the same amount of time that you would be slowing down to ask me a question.
Sure.
So hold on. First of all, here's what I got. I got notes all over the place here. Here I go. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. This talk is going to be blunt. Don't try to smoke it. Life is a freestyle. Is it a freestyle competition? Mm-hmm. That's the question. And think about that. Right now we're using it as who can think the fastest on their feet. That's kind of what we mean when we freestyle, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Who can think the fastest on their feet. Mm-hmm. But let's take that metaphor a little bit further. Poetry is the fast lane on the highway to the soul. You wanna find out about the soul? You gonna read a 500-page volume, or you gonna read a poem?
Accessibility.
Very much so. And
clarity.
And what we might call economy of words. Okay. We don't waste words in poetry.
Accessibility as well.
We don't waste time. We pack as much as we can in as few words as we can. This week I've written at least 3 flows. Are any of them good? Oh, hell no. They haven't been in the barrel. But you're going to have to hear them anyway, okay? That's the nature of this game, right?
Yes.
Okay, so off the top, I hope everybody's got their pen in hand. Write notes, okay? That's why we started with the song Slow Hand. I need a student with a fast hand.
Wow, that's why. Okay.
Okay.
I have my notes right here. I'm ready.
There's reasons. There's reasons.
Yeah,
that's
everything.
That's another reason I love hip hop. It always means something. It always means something. Okay. Even when it's silly, it means something. Okay. So on your bibliography, everybody, I want you to write down Bloom's taxonomy. That's BLOOM, Bloom's taxonomy. And then I want you to write down Maslow's hierarchy of needs. MASLOW, Maslow's hierarchy, which is kind of like the hieroglyphics, it's not hard to spell, of needs. Anatomy, and this is another one, Anatomy of an Illness by Norman Cousins. Anatomy of an Illness. You guys sent me back to this, and you'll find out why if I can talk fast enough. And I've already killed off 15 minutes today. Another one that's worth looking up is A Course in Miracles. Now, if that sounds like I'm trying to do some kind of a workshop for doctors, no, I'm not. I'm trying to do a workshop for our inner processes, because our sickness can actually, our spiritual and psychological sickness can actually poison our artwork. We're talking about artwork here. We're talking about writing poetry and publishing it to the world in the hope that it will gain enough respect, enough gravitas, that people will continue to listen to it for years. Now, you and I talked about this. We've got hip hop that we're going back to for years and years and years. And so one of my top questions here that you want to keep in mind: what makes a lyric last in public consciousness for a long time? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
If there were an easy answer to it, Lupe would have given it to you on day one.
Right. Exactly.
There is no easy answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question that you need to plaster across the inside of your skull and keep it there. And as you listen to people, and as you listen to the great lyrics of all kinds of music, all kinds of writing, you're going to come up with pieces of the answer, because the answer is a jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right now the 3 factors of a classic, and I have never seen anybody who's talking about a classic on the internet who can give you those 3 criteria. I can do it off the top of my head. I used to teach it in sophomore English. Where did I learn it? Off the dome, baby, off the dome. Am I going to give it to you right now? Probably not. Don't have time. And you are.
Oh, man.
And you are going, if you are interested, you will hold the question. I will wait. And if you're really interested, you will get in touch with me and ask the question. And then I will know that I've got an audience that really wants to hear it. I've taught this stuff to 15-year-olds for many, many years. Hey, a lot of that was wasted. They weren't listening. They were 15. Okay, so if you really want to know, you'll get back in touch. All right, now I'm just going to move with those things as a framework. I'm going to ask a couple more questions here.
Okay.
And they revolve around the concept of clarity. Now, I've listened to a bunch of what was posted by you guys, and a lot of the is very clear and very accessible, and it's my seal of approval. Okay.
I appreciate that.
I'm a retired debate coach. Okay. Not just a high school teacher, a debate coach. And what that means is that I've had kids walk in and try to blast my eardrums 600 words a minute in policy debate. Those kids have taken the L every single time. It's possible to talk too fast. Now, if you are in some kind of competition of I can talk so fast and you can understand fast talk, that's great. You know how big your audience is going to be? 1, 2,
very
maybe
minimal. Very minimal.
Very minimal. You want an audience? You slow down and you speak. Why do we still listen to Biggie? Because we can understand every single word. That's why. Okay? Is he the heaviest dude on the planet? No, he's not. Well, he's not even the heaviest physically. But we could understand his words, right? So he had the opportunity to get his message into our deepest being on the first throw. Do you get me, folks? If they have to listen to it twice and read the liner notes and call you up and say, what was that word?
It's just not even,
That's not communication. That's just not communication. So please consider and respect your audience. Give your audience the best opportunity they have to get your message, not because you hit them over the head with it, not because you gave them a sermon or a lecture, or you need to do this so you can go to heaven. No, nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. What they love is being able to figure out some of the things you're saying for themselves because you were so clear. And they deserve that. Your audience does. That is the utmost respect. Why am I slowing down right now? Because I can't see the people who are listening to me. I know what their reactions are. I'm going to apologize in advance if their feelings get hurt. And their feelings might get hurt because I come like a dinosaur. I know I do. And I can stomp on people and never even know it. Okay? So,
well, there was an essence of teachers versus.
I'm not listening to you.
For sure. Go ahead.
The audience that you're writing for.
Yep.
I think I saw Loopy. Hey, Loopy. The audience that you're writing for has a lexicon.
That's right.
And you have a responsibility to know their lexicon and to write with that in mind. Now, I don't know how much of this Lou already taught you. I'm really, floundering here because I haven't seen your whole course, and he may have taught you that. If he did, fine and swell. But there's also people listening to this who are writers and rappers who have not heard Lou's curriculum.
That's right.
So it's going to bear repeating. Every audience has its own lexicon, true or false, right? You can't talk music to a room full of OR nurses.
That's correct.
It's not going to help.
Spatial awareness, right?
You can call it spatial. That's fine. I don't think I would, but okay. Now, but let's talk about a universal lexicon. Okay? Where is the universal lexicon for humans? Shall I let Greg answer? Are you all writing down your answers? Where do you think is the universal lexicon for humans? Is there a universal lexicon for humans? I'm going to suggest to you that we don't have truly universal lexicon. Above the fact of life, like birth and death. We don't have universal symbols of what it means to be human. But we do have some really widespread cultural lexicons, don't we? And today I would like, if I have time, to tap on the cultural lexicons that came down from the great father Abraham, okay? And so those are the ones that filtered down and got spread out through the tree to, Stubby says it's the heartbeat. Absolutely, it's a universal human lexicon. I'm not sure how, thanks, Stubby. But as we look at some of the symbols that you can use in your poetry, and people will connect to them without even having read the scriptures where they first show up. That's what I want to talk about, okay? Because we have that. We do have that, and we have it in cultures, and they do overlap, kind of like they will dovetail, particularly because I'm going on 3 cultures that are branches out of the same DNA family, okay? Which would be what? Judaism, Christianity, and the Muslim heritage, okay? That all branches off of good old Papa Abraham, okay? And and there's another thing that's going to very much be prevalent and accessible for a lot of people, and that is for rappers to actually keep a dream diary, okay? All right? Because dream symbols tend to flock together across a culture, okay? So that's why sometimes people will post a dream on here, and I'll come back and they'll say, what does this mean? And I'll come back and tell them. How can I know that? I mean, these are people that are, many degrees of separation away from me, but they are in the Western upper hemisphere. And when they start dreaming about there's a feast on the table, I'm going to tell you what not. That's not about food. That is about thoughts. There's a feast on the table. That's about your inner self has come across a big body of knowledge to explore. That's what it's telling you. And it's going to tell you that I don't care where you are in this part of this hemisphere. You dream about a feast, you're dreaming about thoughts, a whole lot of thoughts. You dream about famine. Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and tell me you're not bored as hell and looking for something to learn. Okay?
Starved of inspiration.
Exactly.
Mm.
We are thirsty for knowledge. We are, drink to me only with thine eyes.
Mm.
We use all kinds of food and liquor metaphors to
Mm.
get through life. Do I say metaphor? No. Let me tell you something. I don't say doctor. I don't say elevator. I don't say escalator. I don't say alligator. I say metaphor, doctor, escalator. I'm a Texan, and I come from years. The word metaphor was used at the dinner table all the time. Nobody slowed down to say or at the end, and I won't either. So sorry. Yeah, okay. Do what you want. Okay. The other piece of your audience lexicon that you are responsible for, and I mean responsible, is the connotations.
Mm.
And that's particularly true in terms of political connotations.
Mm.
I closed this week. Did I get to use the word raccoon in them?
Mm.
Oh, hell to the no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Couldn't go there. Wouldn't matter what I thought it meant. It matters what the audience thinks it means.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's my responsibility.
Exactly.
Okay? So these people who come to me and say, oh, well, you just didn't understand what I meant. My answer to you is, get the fuck out of here. Your responsibility is to write something that your audience understands. You want your, that's your responsibility. It's not the audience's responsibility. No audience has a responsibility to go out and read a book so they can figure out your damn flow. Okay. I'm over it. Okay, sorry. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This is going to be blunt. Don't try to smoke it. Okay. We'll get back, if we have time, to how to make things manifest. But in the meantime, I will absolutely order everybody to quit using the word manifest, because you don't know what it means and you don't know how it works. And it's a dangerous word, and stop it. I started using that word. I never used that word. I was taught not to use that word in my first class on metaphysics back in the late 70s. And I absolutely respect the power of manifesting things, and I wouldn't do it. I don't give a shit who says do it. Okay? All right? No, you don't want to manifest it. Nothing is free in this universe. Take it to heart. You go around saying I'd give my left arm for a Cadillac. You know what you're going to end up with?
Massive.
You're going to end up with one arm and a Cadillac. So cut it out. If your little ego thinks it can manifest something, the bigger self is going to slap it down. And you're going to be in a puddle on the floor, son. I guarantee it. Right? That's all I have to say about that for the moment. Now, changing the subject abruptly, let's go to How I Met Lupe Fiasco, okay? Are you still on here, Lou? Oh, dirty. When I was a sophomore English teacher, I figured out that my kids were coming to school either hungry or eating Cheetos and Dr. Pepper for breakfast. And by the third period, they were all with a sugar crash. Couldn't even hold their heads up. All right? All right. Now, meanwhile, I happen to come from some pretty good cooks and some pretty highfalutin rolling gay men that have $600 dough mixers on the counter. You can't even buy them in this country. And so I started bringing in great monstrous quiches made out of eggs and cheese and potatoes. I don't like eggs. I don't like cheese. So my quiches don't taste like the normal quiche. Eggs, potatoes, green chilies, corn, all kinds of wonderful things, and feeding my kids every blinking day. Every kid. Your homework wasn't done? I don't care. Shep still feeds you. Okay?
Best teacher ever, man. None of my teachers fed me.
I had kids that took 3 classes because they wanted a piece of quiche 3 times a day.
Man, I'm saying. I was like, yo, give me another test.
Exactly. So quit talk, and here they come talking to me. Colorado Bob, thank you for the food. Thank you for the love, Bob. I'm going to tell you what, that boy sat there and watched me cry my eyes out the other day. I did it again yesterday. And I have to say thank you so much, because this whole experience got me triggered, and I cried for half an hour yesterday. You know what that caused? That caused my body to release all kinds of toxins. It comes out through your tears. You can't sweat it out. You can't pee it out. You can't get it out at the gym. It only comes out in emotional tears. That's the only way you get it out.
Goodness.
Now let's think about the metaphor there. Let's call it a metaphor, okay? Let's think about the metaphor. All right. Tears, do they soothe your pain? Do they soothe your broken heart? Do they make you feel better? And then along come the scientists, God bless the scientists, and they analyze that fluid that comes splashing out of your eyes, very rarely for the men in the crowd. It's full of toxins that you can't get out any other way. So by crying for half an hour yesterday, which I did not plan to do, I cleansed my blood, dude. You can't get any cleaner blood than you can after a good cry. Have you ever heard of a bad cry? Nobody said, oh, that was a bad cry. No, that was a good cry. Why have we been saying that for 1,000,000 years? Because is good. Okay?
That's crazy.
Okay, we're about to step to it now.
You mentioned the quiches, right?
Yeah, and because I always had, once I started doing that and I started cooking a dozen of those massive ones, I would go down to Costco and get those great big pie pans, you know? And when Costco quit giving me the pie pans, which was their mistake, I started buying pumpkin pies. I could get 6 pie pans for, 15. Because those great big pumpkin pies were only $6 a piece. So 15 of those for $100, right? And just to be the kind of clown I am, I would walk straight to the front of them, open it up, and throw the pumpkin pie in the garbage can, very loudly, cussing the whole time, and praying that they would call the police. And I would make the 6 o'clock news, okay? Old lady trashing pumpkin pie in front of Costco. Get those pie pans home and fill them up with cheese and eggs instead of that nasty sugar. Sugar's killing, right? Yeah, they never called the cops on me, damn it. Would have been fun, though, wouldn't it?
Thankfully.
So every Sunday, I'd make up a bunch of those quiches, and it did come to pass that my 15-year-olds that I loved so dearly, took me, helped me wade into the world of hip-hop. What do you say instead of manifest? If you're making things occur, Robert, you got some problems. We got to talk, because no, you don't get to manifest anything. You get to say thank you for whatever you have. I've been saying thank you for pain. Okay, I've been in a lot of pain, and I say thank you for it all the time. Just say thank you. All right. Now, back to it. So I started having this freezer full of quiche because I was feeding my students. All classes, all day, every day. And the principal would say, I would say to the principal, you know, I don't have any absences in my classes. And he would say, of course you don't, Shep. You feed them.
That's genius. That's genius.
You know, but hey, how do we work best? How do we work best? We work best with a little clean protein in our system, don't we? Everybody knows that. Okay. All right. So one day I decided, okay, I'm going to go down here and lace a little concert. It was a small venue, 1,000 people, a little Lupe Fiasco concert. So I went down there, and I don't know if I sent quiche backstage or I sent some sandwiches or something. I don't know what it was. But my basic method was to just sail in the afternoon, right around the time of sound check. Sound check is the best time to listen to a concert. Nobody's standing in front of you. There's no noise around you. Nobody's throwing up on you. And you can hear every instrument sound itself out. And so you can actually put that concert together in your own head.
Right.
It's wonderful. So I'm sorry, I have emphysema, people. And if you think you're getting away with smoking marijuana, you're as foolish as they come. All right, I don't give a shit what the industry says. Smoke is smoke. So anyway, I had that food backstage, and the next thing I know, this young man standing beside me, saying, "Who are you?" And I turned around, and it was Lou. And he started talking to me about all the things that his doctor told him not to eat because of his throat while he was on tour. And I listened to the whole list. And by the time that you were through the list, dairy, meat, sugar, hey, what's left? Not much.
Right, 100%.
And I take fruit off the list. I won't feed anybody fruit. So I said to him, you know what you need? I'm sorry I didn't know this. You need a Hoppin' John. And his eyes lit up, dollar signs, man. There's only two artists that have recognized the name Hoppin' John. Lupe Fiasco and Carl Denson. So Lupe got in the habit of getting a Hoppin' John every time he rolled into town. Because I'd come creeping along and break into the venue and give him or leave him a Hoppin' John, right? Now, a lot of people don't know what Hoppin' John is. Hoppin' John is a dish made of black-eyed peas and rice. I kind of brought it back, and it's been something more than 10 years ago. And it's now you're now going to find it in Tony restaurants. Oh, aren't we cool? We have Hoppin' John. They don't have Hoppin' John. They don't, forget that. Anyway, but it's now an in thing. I thought it was a dish from my childhood in Arkansas. It's actually a dish from Nigeria and Ghana, and I don't know any other places in Africa, okay? It's based on black-eyed peas or field peas and rice. And when I was a kid, it was cooked with ham hocks. Delicious, settles down on your stomach, good vegetable energy, okay? But I make it vegan with my own homemade broth. I don't know what's on the phone, but I don't want to.
No, take your time.
What is it? No, I don't have time. Okay, now, so Lou actually brought it to the surface of my mind. That seems to be his habit. Now, one of my connections with Lou is that we cause each other to think. We cause each other to do research. And I never thought about it until today, but I think that's one of the real reasons we love him. We love each other, is that we cause each other to ask questions, and we listen to each other's questions. So there are now a lot of artists. Travie McCoy, I flew across the country, brought Travie McCoy a bunch of avocado sandwiches, and you know what he said? Where's the hot one? And I'm like, dude, I'm in an Airbnb. I can't be making a Hoppin' John, okay?
Right.
But that's how I met Lou. And then you guys are all kind of an extenuation of that, an extension of that relationship.
Such a small world. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, honey, based on the rappers I know, I figure I'm 1 degree away from every rapper in the pantheon. I'm 1 degree away from MC Solar in Paris. I know DJ.
Wow.
So step to me.
Wow. I'm not stepping to you. I'll tell you that right now. People
are saying, how did you start this? Like I can tell them some kind of formula for becoming connected like this. I cannot. I did not set out to be connected. What I set out to do was go listen to some good music and I literally collar people. I practically grab them physically, and I'll get right in their faces, and I'll say, I did this to Guru. I jumped in Guru's face. I went to sound check, and Primo got the pecan pie, and Guru got the quiche. Okay, and they always told me that's the way they split up the food. But I actually became the Hip Hop Mom on Base Mentalism Radio in 2002 because the DJ for that program saw me, and I had Guru backed up at the bar, and I was schooling him. What are you doing drinking that beer? Okay. You have a scratchy throat. I can hear it on sound check. I could hear that you had a scratchy throat. And he said, yes, I do. And I said, you cannot be drinking liquor. It will feed those germs and ruin your throat.
Dehydrate, 100%.
And the thing I knew, he was walking across the street over to the basement record store and the quick shop, and coming back with a bottle of tea. And night that Guru started drinking tea. So yeah, you can say rest in peace, Guru, but you cannot patch my heart up about Guru. Okay. He's it. And he was it before I ever spoke to him. But of course, after that, he was always an absolute baby to me. He loved me, and he treated me with every kind of kindness. Now, that DJ said, who are you? He came over and got me. He was like, who are you? Who are you? And I said, I don't know. I'm just telling him how to live. And then he got me on the radio, and I started interviewing rappers. And so that's when I got the Hip Hop Mom label. No, you cannot plan out how to have that sort of connection. I never saw it coming. I never, ever, ever, ever saw it coming. I am 1 degree away from Tupac. I've been kissed by the same people that have been kissed by every big rapper on this side of the ocean, and some others. Okay? What a blessed existence. And all of my people in my generation, my demographic, think that rap is shallow, it's junk, it's trash. They don't know. They don't know, okay? It's not. And so I'm going to segue right in here into why I love it. What's great about hip hop? First of all, it gets teens to write poetry. 1985, there was no teenager walking around with a notebook in his hand, checking to make sure he had a pen wherever he went. That wasn't happening. All of a sudden, in the middle 90s, 15-year-olds checking for a pen wherever they went? Are you kidding me? No, that was hip-hop. Hip-hop inspired the whole neighborhood, from the wealthy to the most impoverished, to say, I can do this. I can write this kind of poetry. I can get on the stage. I can grab a mic. That's a miracle. You have to be an English teacher to understand. For the first 10 years of my career, when I said, now we're going to study poetry, all the guys in the class tried to get a bathroom pass.
Right, try to get out of it.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, after hip-hop, they were interested in poetry. They wanted to know the mechanics of poetry. They wanted to be able to criticize poetry and write poetry. In the English teacher world, that is a miracle. That right there is a miracle. And I give it to hip-hop, okay?
That's so crazy.
You can't give it to R&B. You can't give it to jazz. You can't give it to gospel. Sorry, son. It's all about hip-hop.
Wow.
And I've got all the props in the world for that medium.
Wow.
Okay, that's the first reason. Second reason that I love hip-hop is that it resurrects and celebrates lost music.
Sampling. Wow.
Digging in the crates, baby. Digging in the crates.
Yeah, wow. That's
okay.
resurrection.
It resurrects that music. It keeps that music going. I didn't remember the Isleys. I had them in my music cabinet, but I hadn't played them in a million years. And then all of a sudden, Between the Sheets is Everywhere You Can Go. Are you kidding me? That I've got it right here, and I've had it all along, and I've forgotten it. I have forgotten. Okay? And that's my whole generation. I made a Tupac tape, and I gave it to another woman my age. And I said, you listen to this. She came back, and she said, oh, wow, I didn't know. I said, I know you didn't know, okay? Those damn Johnny J beats, you can't touch them. You cannot touch them. I don't give a shit. Get Primo on the line. He'll tell you. You cannot touch those Johnny J beats. Okay? Why? Because those guys were early on, and they got to sample. It's like getting to sample real chocolate as opposed to powdered chocolate. You got me? You heard me?
There's a purity and clarity to it.
Right, because it's the real music. And once it's been sampled too much, nobody can pull anything out of it. Okay, third reason. That's my second reason, is the resurrection of lost music. My third reason is synthesis. Producers, baby, are the shiznit. And you can tell them I said so, okay? You think you got a song until you got a producer that really knows what to do with your song? You ain't got shit, babe. I don't care about your bars. You ain't got shit until you got a producer. And it's got to be great. All right? And that's not just from his reputation or her reputation. That's a magic that you cannot replicate. The guys that get and gals, I don't care, but it's mostly men. And if you want to ask me why women are not getting out there, there's a reason. But the deal is this: when we put the music together and when we put the lyrics together, in both instances, we are using a very, very high level brain process. And that's that brain process called synthesis, where we take two known elements and combine them in a way that's new. And that's what it's about. We're either doing it with language when we're writing our so-called bars, or we're doing it with music. And then we're going back and combining them again, and that's a third level of synthesis, okay? Synthesis is a very high-level mental ability, okay? When you're 6 years old and you read a story, you're probably not going to be able to turn around and write a story as good as what you just read.
Sure.
Okay? Because you're 6 years old and you're reading at a literal level. But when you have climbed through the levels, when you have learned to identify the symbols, identify the messages, analyze, and then you get up to the level of synthesis or synthesizing, okay, that's something that a high school teacher wants to bring those 15-year-olds up to. If you had great high school teachers, you might have learned to synthesize in high school. But guess what? I was able to get hip-hop to teach it. I didn't have to beat their heads in. They were doing it. You feel me, son? Is that a reason for a little old English teacher to love hip-hop? Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, now. Oh, no, I only have 8 minutes? Shit. You better watch. I want to talk to you about play. All right? Play is very important. And you guys are actually sometimes working all the way through instead of playing. And you will find that when you quit the work and you start to play, your head will break open and all kinds of shit will come floating out. Oh my Lord, I'm going to try to rip through this. So you guys just hold on.
Let's
okay?
go. We're here. Let's go.
There's a cat named Noam Chomsky, Noam, Noam Chomsky, who analyzed language. He came out with frozen language, language that cannot be improved, and it gathers meaning with each application. All right? It's all good, baby. Can't improve. Gathers meaning every time. A rose is a rose is a rose. Can't improve it. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Can't improve it. To be or not to be. Cannot improve it. So I believe that we have frozen language in hip hop, and we have that ability. But most people are writing what I'm going to call ephemeral metaphors. They disappear. We don't remember them. Okay? I'm not saying you can force it to go long, but that's what you want. You want the Hail Mary when you write a flow. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Okay. So I'm going to give you some old ones, and I'm going to see how fast I can go. From the Bible, bread is about the third big symbol for thought. The first one is water. The next is stone. Then you get bread. Now, I did notice this, that when Abraham saw the strangers coming to his door, he told Sarah, he said, make them some bread. What kind of bread would they have made back then? I'm going to tell you right now, real quick. They would have made injera. Most of you guys know what injera is. Injera is made from an ancient grain in Africa that you have to leave it sitting in the water for 4 days, and it will begin to bubble and simmer. I mean, not simmer, but ferment. Again, metaphor for our thoughts. We have to think something up and then let it ferment.
And just let it.
Let it ferment, okay? After it ferments and we cook it, it is what we call leavened or risen. It rises. It carries our thoughts. It carries our thoughts up. It makes them viable. It carries our thoughts to the divine. And I said, and you can tell them I said it. Okay? I talked to you about tears, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to skip over that and remind you that tears are the great cleanser. And then those strangers, Sarah went to the back of the tent to listen to the strangers. And what did they tell Abraham? They said, you're going to have a baby. And what did they name that baby? They named that baby Isaac. Laughter. Isaac means laughter. Isaac means laughter. Now, hold on. This is the father of 3 great faiths, and the only named child, which again is a symbol, is laughter. God gave us laughter, and through laughter, we get we get Esau, who is a major factor in Islam. We get Jacob, a major factor, the father of Israel. And we get, hold on, who's the other one? Ishmael. Ishmael is also coming there, and he's coming into Islam. But wait a minute, I've forgotten something there, because I came up from the backside. Oh, we also get Judah. Judaism, okay? And down through that, we're going to get Jesus. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you all to write these 2 words down. Okay? This is a versus. Conscience versus nonsense. You guys are too busy writing about conscience. But if you've really got a problem going on and you try to write a poem about it and your poem gets all serious and you try to write a flow about it and your flow's all serious, who the hell wants to hear it? Are you making the world better? No. What makes the world better is making people laugh. And that's a fact. Okay? That's why I want you to look back at Norman Cousins and that thing. Now, you have that's your fingers?
That's it.
I have 3 minutes. You say I have 4?
Yep, we have 4 minutes flat.
Okay, real quick now. Gratitude is the attitude, and it's not lightweight platitude. It's laughter we're after. A ladder to heaven. Our daily bread's leaven. Eraser of dread. Vacuum of headaches. Headlocks. Heady talks. Jacob's head on a rock. Running scared for his life from the brother he duped. It's a constant loop of a ladder, but you're it's a constant loop of a ladder, my G, but you're trapped in your grief and you can't start climbing. Metaphorical roadmap of rhyming and timing. Sublime its aim for the pinnacle game. And if angels had wings, what's up with the rungs? Let's talk about tongues. They're so quick, so click and thick. But can they make our music stick to another snotty, slick brick of our snobby listeners' flickering, fickle mental walls? Why, yes, my G, when we flip the script, flibbering gyps, wiggle our hips, skip the trips, scatter the chips, spit some drivel on the devil, laugh with fools on the level. Abre los ojos, open your eyes. Laughter is the food of the wise.
Yo!
Art with that, babe. What up?
Oh, man. Oh, wow. That was, wow.
One more. Have you ever had, oh, wait, I had actually 3. I got an even shorter one.
Yeah,
just
run
in
it.
case I have time.
100%.
All right. Herding cats for Jesus' playpen, sorting spats with Homo sapiens, hand them bats and see who saves them. What, you're no saints or angels tabled them? Oh, gee, who'd you delegate for diaper duty and a yellow cake full of chocolate chips? Don't relegate or relocate those pearly gates while we're still chasing loose inmates. Surely someone will officiate this competition date of fate in which the only losers hate, 'cause this is life. It's not debate.
Mm, mm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are we? Oh, I got 2 minutes?
Yep, 1:30. Almost 1:35.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some Shep in it. I had a lot of other stuff, as you can imagine, but I can't say how much I appreciate this. I was in massive pain yesterday and I need to tell you about hysteria. Damn. I think you guys should invite me back.
I think we're gonna have to invite you back. I mean, this has been an absolute treat.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip, but hysteria, laughing and crying at the same time. I found out yesterday why that is such a powerfully healing experience. The tears are pulling the toxins out, while the laughter is healing our hearts and souls and minds. Okay? I never do this for the last 70 years until yesterday afternoon when I was crying at the same time. Okay? So, be it. It's okay. And all you boys, you need hysteria. You need to laugh and cry at the same time without drugs. This is why women live longer than men. Men build up toxins. We talk about toxic masculinity. Hey, I'm going to talk to you about toxic femininity. Because if women weren't so goddamn tight with the twat, everybody would be a whole lot happier. Okay? There's nothing so good for the world as a lovely hoe. And I send you to Genesis 38. And I'm going to make a little detour here and remind everybody. There are no women named in the Bible. No women named in the Bible unless they told a very powerful story. And all the time, every time, the woman is a maverick. They don't get in the Bible for being a good girl. What? That's not happening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay, well, I need to get my picture back. Okay. Now, no, what's Moses' sister's name? Pop quiz. You don't know. You know why? Moses supposedly wrote the Torah, but he never told his sister's name? Really? He never told his mother's name? Really? That's because they didn't have remarkable stories. The remarkable stories are from the women who are mavericks. And what makes them maverick? They had unusual ability to connect with men, whether that was what we think is acceptable or not. They didn't care what we 5,000 years later we're going to think is acceptable.
Mm.
No, they are symbols. You read Genesis 38 and you read that whole, it's a very small part of the story of Joseph. Now then, also read the story of Joseph, everybody, and also look up the story of Joseph in the Quran. Okay? Because I got to give props right now to the prophet. Okay? I am not any sort of a scholar at all of Islam. I wouldn't truly call me a scholar of the Bible, although I taught it as literature for a long, long time. Okay? But so I'm a little closer to a scholar than a lot of people are. But that doesn't make me a scholar. Now, the prophet, when the prophet tells the story of Joseph, honey, if you don't fall out of your chair laughing, you're deaf and dumb. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Yes, Lady Zay tells us Surah Yusuf. Okay, I'm not an expert at all, but I would never want to teach the story of Joseph without pulling the page where the prophet tells about the Potiphar, the captain's wife, who tried to seduce him. This is a famous scene, and guess what? If you're 17 years old and some old lady hasn't tried to seduce you, I feel sorry for you, because it's a very common human experience.
Right.
And yet it doesn't fit with 1995 law, and I don't care, okay? It fits with human experience, because there's hardly a 15-year-old boy who hasn't laid eyes on the lady next door. So don't even start. It's natural, okay? Now, when the prophet tells this story, it's so much more interesting than when Moses tells the story. Sorry, Moses, but you're a bore. Okay? Moses is all about rules. Moses hands you down, I don't know how many, what is it, 817 rules in Leviticus? I don't even remember how many. Who reads them? Nobody reads them. What do we read? We read the stories, because the stories carry the pictures for our heads. Rules? Who the hell reads rules? That's how, we don't read the fine print in a contract. But we will read the story, and it needs to make pictures in my mind. And this is another thing, an injunction I am giving to rappers. Quit making videos. Videos screw up music. Why? Because videos make the pictures before the listener makes the pictures. The whole process of literature is for the audience to make its own pictures. That's where
crazy.
The fun is. That's where the sex is. That's where it's juicy in your own mind. Argue with me, son.
Wow. That's wild. That is
one of the greatest songs of the last 20 years. Coming to Break You Off. Music Soul Child. Last Thought. The video. Last scene in the video. A rat in the bed springs. I don't know what is sexy about that. You tell me. All right? Nothing. It's a stupid ass. It wrecked the song. Do you really want to make a song where the listener sees a rat in the bed springs when they listen to your song?
Of course not.
Well, that's what they did. And you can tell Tariq I said so. Tariq and I go way back 20 years. Okay?
Right.
So we as artists are here to generate brain action. That's what we're here for. We're not here for you to, I mean, okay, you want to do that? Make comic books. Go write comic books. That's a fine medium. Go do it. But don't tell me that this is music. It's not. Okay? What it's doing is dumbing down your audience. And you are going to lose audience over it. I never saw a video for Juicy. I don't know what the video is. Maybe you guys do. I don't care. I love the song for the song. I don't like the videos of so many songs. I don't give a damn for any of the Tupac videos. Name one that's worth watching. You can't, because none of them are worth watching. What's worth it is to listen to the words and make a picture in your head. Make your own moving pictures in your head. That's what you're here for. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing that as a rapper. You're dropping your own ball.
That's why imagery is so important in text.
Imagery is everything.
Mm.
Your job to deliver the message is to take one image after another, after another, after another. And when you stack those up, they should generate pictures in your audience's heads. And you get enough pictures. From each picture, you draw a small part of the message. And in the end, you should get the message. At no point should the rapper have to say the message. You just, somebody put keep your head up here. Okay? Keep your head up. That's one of the reasons that song is weak. And that's a weak song, son. And I love Tupac. You will never love Tupac more than I love Tupac. But that's a weak song. All right? Because if you have to tell them the message, you're either treating them like they're stupid or you're not giving them good pictures so that they can create messages together with you. That's why you have to know their lexicon and you have to work with their lexicon. You're writing for 5 years old, then you write with balloons and stuff. You're writing for 30-year-olds, you're going to write with a whole different set of images. You write for eternity, and guess what you're going to be back to? Same thing Maya Angelou was back to when she gave the opening poem for the inauguration. Who did Maya Angelou make the poem for? For the inauguration of a president. I bet it was Clinton. And guess what? Guess what that poem used for its imagery? The tree, the stone, the river. Universal images. Was she really writing about botany? I don't think so. You feel me?
So okay, because most people make videos because they feel as though without a visual component, they won't be able to market themselves correctly. But what you're saying is they're exiting and they're taking themselves out of a level of timelessness because they're giving too much to people, and it makes it uninteresting, and it makes people not work for what you're writing.
And guess when the joy hits? After the work is done. And that's a matter for everything in life.
Making it too easy.
After labor, we have a baby. Okay? You don't get a baby without labor.
Keep going. I'm just, I mean, you just.
I realize that I undermine a whole lot of modern thought because a whole lot of modern thought is based on this should be painless, this should be easy, this should be quick. Guess what? None of it's painless, none of it's easy, none of it's quick. But you have a responsibility to find joy. You don't get to duck it. You can go out and you can prance around and you can complain about Black Lives Matter and all the other horrible shit that's going on in the world. And that shit's been going on forever. Okay? But you still have a responsibility to get the joy and hold it high and have gratitude. Gratitude for the joy and gratitude for the pain. Okay?
I love that.
Would you like to have given birth without being able to feel it? I know it was uncomfortable, but would you like to have been able to have done it without being able to feel it? You might say yes, but you might be very, very wrong. It's the relief at the end of the labor that caused me to sit up after my first baby and say, oh, I want to have another one in the delivery room. Okay?
Wow.
That's how intense the relief is.
That's one of the most powerful gems. I just feel as though, I mean, and that's why, my goodness, I mean, when it comes to mothers, when it comes to, I mean, there's no, without that gratitude for the friction. And this is a metaphor I've used before, or metaphor I've used before, which is literally there's no, like, we can appreciate the beauty of mountains and valleys, but we can't appreciate those without the earthquake, without the ground cracking, what seems like this visceral danger.
I don't have time for you to think through your thoughts. I'm going to block.
You know what? You're right. Go ahead.
I'm in a week thinking through my thoughts, and I'm still stumbling. So
go ahead. I'm slowing you down. Let's go.
When last we met, we had Tamar sitting on the side of the road, draped in the veils of the prostitute. And I want to point out that in the ancient days, when all of our great religions grew, they came from societies. And I'm going to include here the Greek gods. I'm not just limiting it. Many societies, all societies, had different morals for sexuality. And Tamar, who is the hero of Genesis 38, waits with the veils of the prostitute by the road and seduces her father-in-law, Judah, who has refused to send his third son because the first two died of flying unidentified offenses toward God. Namely, they pulled out. They didn't want to have a baby, and they pulled out. And your local Catholic priest is going to tell you, oh, this is telling you shouldn't masturbate. Oh, that's a load of shit. This is talking to you about the most important energy in the whole world, creative energy. They spilled creative energy, and God killed them on the spot. Killed them on the spot. Did you see God killing Tamar for playing the part of the prostitute? Nobody struck her down. Okay? Why? And she comes up pregnant after one hit from her father-in-law. Okay? He calls her out into the street to be stoned or burned at the stake. I don't remember. You look up the details. They don't matter. When she produces his signet and his ring and says, by whom these do belong? No, by him whose these are, am I with child. He recognizes his own marks and says, thou art more righteous than I. Go in peace. Hey, the prostitute is more righteous than the man whose name became Judah of Judaism.
That is wow.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack in that.
There is.
God didn't strike her down, and God's pretty good at striking people down in this story. He knocked off 2 in the first two verses. Okay? He can knock you off. That wasn't a sin. That was not a sin in the context of this story. Why is she more righteous than he? Because she refuses to give up the opportunity to use creative energy. She will not give up. Is that just about having children? If it is just about having children, why the hell are women doing artwork and painting and writing music? No, creative energy is creative energy, and we use it in all sorts of endeavors, okay? So I was telling you guys about how to make injera. Injera is baking, and it's creative energy. Baking is sexy. Grilling, I don't know. All right. So
that's great.
You put 2 things together, they bubble up and make something new. You've got sex, babe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's not just, making like a spider on a mirror. It's anything where you have created something new. All right. Problem solving, they're piping up here. And yes, exactly. I was teaching this one time, and one of my guys in the class who happened to have a garage full of 63 Chevys, and I know you can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
True or false, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how they use their creative energy. And he said, what about problem solving? Absolutely. Absolutely. Problem solving is creative energy in use. And let's look at the message here. What is the message here? The message is that if you don't use your creative energy, what's your punishment? They died, son.
Right.
They were killed. God killed them.
You just
God
you
killed them.
you outstep your. It seems like you outstep your usefulness when creativity isn't utilized.
You are not using your God-given gift of creative energy. That is a mortal sin. Okay? Most people want to read the Bible literally. They should read this literally. Do we die when we don't use creative energy? Well, if we're not dying physically, we're definitely dead intellectually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? You heard me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So Genesis 38, one of the absolutely most beautiful stories in. But what else did I want to get to when we got cut off? Oh, I know. I was getting to the whole issue of who's toxic. Everybody talking about toxic masculinity, toxic this, toxic that. That's why I'm telling you I'm so grateful. I got to cry for 30 minutes yesterday. That stripped out my toxicity out of my blood. And what's toxic about femininity? All the men in the room know the answer to this question, and they'll never say it. Because when they start talking about it, they'll never get laid again. All right? Because women don't want to hear it. I'm the only one who can get away with saying it, okay? Because I got nothing to lose. I'm not trying to get laid by anybody, okay? The fact is that feminism has wrecked sexuality. It's absolutely destroyed it. It can be very toxic. It can be very judgmental. And it has been ever since Carrie Nation and the rest of them picked up axes and chopped up the brothels and chopped up the saloons, right? And told men, hey, you can get married, but you can't have any other kind of piece of woman for the rest of your life. Oh, cool. That's not natural. That's another way that hip-hop literally oozed under the door that feminism slammed. And hip-hop just freaking poured itself out on the floor in all the dirt, in all the mud, all the grime, all the cuss words, everything else, and oozed right under. And what did it come up with? It came up with rampant sexuality. True or false?
True.
True. It's almost in another world compared to what we might call Caucasian sexuality. Okay? All right? Is either one of them correct? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say the sexuality that we get to see, and I won't have to name names because everybody knows who they are, in hip-hop is disgusting. And it's disgusting to men as well as to women. But men have a better chance of understanding it than women do. Because women have spent the last 120 years not understanding the male. And we have created a huge divide. Everybody's supposed to be all equal. We're supposed to all think the same. And yet, guess what? The day that a woman starts thinking like a man fucking call me up, because I want to have a beer with all of them. Okay? All of them. So I had experiences this summer I can't describe in public. But they got me feeling and thinking, actually thinking. Not even thinking. But experiencing life from the inside of a 14-year-old boy. Wanna imagine that? Okay? I thought I understood men, but I didn't. I understood them enough that I have a lot of men friends because I understand them more than 99% of women. But I still didn't understand them until I literally got gobsmacked in the face and woke up thinking as if some part of my brain was inhabited by a 14-year-old boy. And you know exactly what I mean. All right? And somehow our society has tried to crush this, has tried to crush it away. And what have we ended up with? We've ended up with homicidal incels. Right? We've ended up with a very ugly underbelly. Not all men are good looking like you are. Not all men can get it. Fact of life. Right? So in the ancient days, what did the Greeks have? The Greeks had the temple of Aphrodite. When you were really, really hard pressed, you could go to the temple of Aphrodite. Okay? And the priestess would be some beautiful woman who was there solely to keep you from going off your rocker. That's the whole point of it. Okay? We've lost that. The ancient Jews had it. All the societies of the world had it straight up until Carrie Nation and that whole group of dog-faced old ladies that were running around saying, "Oh, you have to marry me, and you can't go down the street for something a little less formal." All right? All I'm saying is that is very key to the fact that women now view men as toxic, when in fact they're not. They're natural, most of them. Okay? And men view our whole society as men have taught. I can see it on your face, Greg. Men have learned to wear a mask, a very nice, calm mask on these thoughts. Because if they chime in and say, "You know what, you're dead right," somebody somewhere is going to hold it against them. Some woman is going to hold it against them. It's not a problem I can fix. I can say that I have had divine instruction to, by God, let the world know. All right? That women do everybody a big old favor when they actually toss around a little hand job now and then, just because somebody's getting mad, frustrated, and no other reason. Period. Out of. Okay? All right. Now, I know you might not have thought you were signing up for this, but I'm here.
I'm here because I mean I'm learning. I'm thinking about solutions as well, like how to balance things as well. Because I mean, it's just like, can these things be balanced, or is this just going to naturally kind of constantly be this friction thing, and then it's just going to sort itself out, you know?
Why does it sort itself out? Disneyland isn't even open. Everybody thinks that Disney's going to come along and solve everything. Disney's not going to come along and solve everything. Everybody thinks that ascended masters die with no pain. Bad news, dude. Ascended masters often go through intense pain. I spent my whole life on a spiritual journey. And guess what? It's been beset with pain. And this summer, I've been absolutely immobilized, okay, with pain. And thank goodness. I am so grateful. I am so happy. I've lost friends over it. My old friends that are 75 years old calling me up saying, "You got to get to the doctor. We're going to call the protective services on you. Send us a picture of you. You're surely not all there in the head. Okay, because I don't want the medicines. They aren't medicines, they're painkillers. That's not medicine, that's drugs. I don't want that. I want to go out feeling my pain. I don't care. I really don't care about it. It's my gift. It's my gift from the universe. My pain is my gift. And I say thank you for it every single day. I am so grateful. I just can't even describe it to you. So
most people aren't even that strong to even try to withstand. Most people, the minute they feel anything, and that's what, to your point, when it comes to like even, and this is a metaphor weaving back into the videos as well, when it comes to visualizing it, people want the quick drive-through microwave. How do I relieve the pressure immediately? Like, people aren't here for the, again, the preheat. You're gonna have to wait an hour and a half, 2 days, crock pot. You know, you're gonna have to live.
No, I got struck down this summer several times.
Wow.
And each time that I got struck down with pain, somehow I would tear up my back. And as soon, or something, a hip or a leg or something. And as soon as I could, I'd be looking out the back door trying to get outside. Okay? Because I have this beautiful backyard. And it has trees all around it. The people have seen it. MERS came through in April and sat out there and ate lunch with me. You can sit on my back porch buck naked, okay? Right in the middle of the city. It's paradise. So every time I started feeling better, I would try to get outside. And as soon as I would try to get outside, guess what would happen? I would injure myself worse. But my ego, which I call it the ego cop, okay? Because your ego is not your friend. Your ego is just your cop. It wants to keep you in a prison. It wants to keep you in a wall. Built out of what? Built out of all your painful memories. Every time you get a painful memory, what do? You mix up a bucket of mortar and you slug that brick into your wall. Right? And you got this wall, a painful memory. I can't fall in love. It might be painful. Fuck you. Okay? You don't want the pain? That's fine. Go somewhere else. I'll take the pain. All right? I'll take the experience. I'll take whatever the universe tells me to take. All right? I don't want a wall around me. That's a whole lot of bricks to disassemble when I die. And I'm getting real close, dude. I don't have that fucking kind of time. All right? I don't want to be unpacking whatever tower I built around myself. And I'm sorry for anybody that's still building towers around themselves inside. I'm very sorry for you. Stop it. Don't take your little, what's your biography, Greg? I'll tell you what it is. It's a goddamn list of tragedies. That's what biography is. I don't write biography. Fuck biography. Okay. Right?
Mind blown. Like I'm just
you
doing.
Heard me, son?
I'm just doing everything I possibly can to just download.
Am I giving you a headache? Am I?
No, this is. I'm grateful for the pain of this head of this
My friends
knowledge
know,
headache.
know this.
Oh man.
Because they've been talking to me. I've had people that are on this flow right now that were calling me. And every time I moved in my bed, I yelled, I screamed from pain. Indigenous healing. She heard me screaming in the summer. Every time I moved, I could not lift my hand to hold my iPhone. You don't know how much of your back muscles you use to lift your wrist. You have no idea until your whole back becomes disconnected. And then you'll know, oh, yes, you will. Okay? So here's a good question. How do you stop the tower from building? I can tell you some answers, some things you don't want to do. You don't want to hold on to the resentment. Somebody throws a rock at you, you turn around and you look in their eyes and you memorize their face. Do you memorize their face as a person who gave you a gift or a person who gave you an injury?
Has to be the gift. Most people will say injury. Most.
Yeah, but not us, because we are
Right.
now seeing that that's really a gift. That's really our opportunity to do what Jesus did, do what Meher Baba did, which is to take the pain, all the pain, and neutralize the pain, not leave the pain on the human soul. The great human soul has enough pain on it. Okay? Would you agree?
Except every burden's a blessing, basically.
Everything in your life is a blessing. Everything. Doesn't matter if it hurts. Doesn't matter if it feels good. It's all a blessing if you choose to make it a blessing. Okay? So I chose to make it a blessing, and I'm glad I did. By the time it got to be 4th of July, I'm going to tell you guys a scandalous story. Are there any kids on here?
There's a bunch of kids. There's going to be people watching this afterwards. You know, you might want to.
No, I won't go too scandalous on you.
Yeah.
But I will suffice it to say that I kept trying to get outside. And the last thing I did was get into the very ugly truck. You have to understand, it's a very ugly truck, but it drives like a Cadillac, so who gives a shit, right? And I got into the very ugly truck. No, I probably didn't get into the very ugly truck. I probably got into the $100,000 minivan, which is a 1995 beater that goes straight backstage at Red Rocks 365 days a year. How much money is that worth?
Oh,
With
man.
my family driving it, they don't stop me. They don't ask for a ticket. They just point the way. They say, oh, it's the Hip-Hop Mom. And they just direct me right to the backstage door.
Wow.
Okay? Any other car, any other face, you need a ticket. You need credentials. Anyway, I was probably in the $100,000 minivan, and I made a little mercy trip in the $100,000 minivan. I get back home, and I tore my back so bad that I could not get both legs. I have a little hospital bed. Now, how come I have a little hospital bed? Because I broke my leg. So somehow my greater self knew that I was going to need a hospital bed 2 years later. And I get a hospital bed, and my beloved student Bobby went down and picked it up for me and paid a big fat $20 for an electric hospital bed. Most little piece of furniture you'll ever see. So I couldn't even get on that bed. I was in so much pain. I finally got down. I couldn't lift a hand. I couldn't call 911. I wouldn't have anyway. And I thought I was going to die that night. Okay. So I did not move off of that bed, except to get to the little bedside bucket for 2.5 weeks. I could not move. I couldn't eat. I wasn't bothering to drink. So I was really getting ready to check out, and I'm still getting ready to check out. Bottom line. Oh, that's one of those idioms I want y'all to quit saying. I'm going to quit saying it too. That's what it took to make me stay in my house. Because every time I got a little better, I went outside. Because I'm stubborn. It's Colorado. It's beautiful. It's summertime. What do you do in Colorado in the summertime? Do you stay inside an air-conditioned house?
No, you go out and
hell
enjoy
to the
it.
no. No, you don't. You get your ass out there. You soak up a little sun. You know, you try to catch a little skin cancer, whatever. You're not going to do that. And my ego cop was not going to let my message from my greater self come to the surface. And the message from the greater self was, you stay your ass inside. You have emphysema. There's fire smoke coming from There's fire smoke coming from Utah. There's fire smoke coming from Colorado. Keep your ass in the house. I couldn't hear the message. You feel me? So
preserve the lungs. Like, don't go out there because the air quality is bad.
I would be dead right now, or on a ventilator. Okay, because I have a good case of emphysema. I smoked 620,000 cigarettes and a whole bunch of marijuana. So I have the good case of emphysema. Now, add all that smoke that I did not even notice was out there, it would have only taken 1 day for me to be in the hospital. Okay? Instead, I live in luxury, which they will tell you, anybody who's been here, I have this ugly little house with a 2.5-ton air conditioner. I'm still breathing the air from April. Okay? All I'm saying is, we don't know when our pain is actually a gift. Just like when mom swatted your ass and it stung because you tried to run out in front of a Mack truck. Remember? You don't remember, but you can bet your ass she did. The minute you wouldn't listen to her and you headed for that street, you finally got a sting on your butt. True or false?
No, true. And you didn't know at the time because you were a child. But at the same time, here we go.
Was that a gift or an insult?
It was a gift.
It was a gift.
Yep.
And my pain had to get intense because my ego cop wasn't listening to me. My ego, not me. My ego cop wasn't listening to my greater self.
To the point,
Okay.
to the point of that comment, I mean, tough love is the realest love there is. It's one of, well, I would say one of the most purest forms. Is just this one-to-one, no holds barred. I'm just gonna tell it like it is, because
I got it for Lupe Fiasco. Lupe, are you still on here? I don't know if Lou's still here.
I don't know if he's still on, but he has the same way. He has that exact method.
Will he be able to get the feed and everything or no?
Afterwards, yeah, he's definitely going to have the ability to go back up on the profile, watch it. We're going to throw it on YouTube.
Okay, so I have this message for Lupe Fiasco. It's for everybody. But I wrote this in capital letters, and I don't usually do that, so I must want to say it. Guess what friends give each other? Homework. That's what they do. And did I tell you guys to write down the words conscience versus nonsense?
Not yet. No, we can write that down, though.
Yes, this is a versus.
Okay.
Conscience versus nonsense. When you're choosing a topic for your flows, it's easier to go to your conscience than it is to write nonsense. You might think it's easy to write nonsense. You might think it's easy to write humor, but I'm going to tell you right now, as a writer and a speech coach, conscience is drama. Nonsense is humor. Humor is the hardest thing to write. It's a lot harder to write humor than it is to write drama. Everybody can, like I said, we can all write a litany of tragedies, can't we? That's easy, okay? I'm suggesting that if you can come with flows that actually make people laugh, you got a good chance of getting replays. You come with flows that are nothing but records of conscience, that are sermons and editorials. You already look bored just at the words. Because they're boring. They are boring, okay? And I've said that before, okay? The only reason you're listening to me preach right now is that every now and then I say something scandalous or something out of my demographic, and it makes you laugh. And that's the only reason that you're still listening to me. If this was just an old, boring, dull lecture, we'd be gone.
So that diffusion of energy, you got to chop the energy and then lay in some value, and then, well, I guess it's all valuable. It's all valuable, but
you can teach just as well with laughter, and probably even better. And that's what stories do we remember from the Bible? What stories do we remember from the Quran? We remember the funny ones. What happened in the Quran when Joseph turned down the old lady? Much more interesting than it is in the Bible. In the Bible, she accuses him of rape and throws him in prison and all that. Oh, that's not interesting. In the Quran, the mother, the older woman, assembles all her girlfriends. Okay, it's already getting funny. Picture this in your head. gets her girlfriends together for a luncheon or a dinner. I think it was a luncheon, maybe a dinner. I don't remember. I think it was a luncheon. They didn't have a lot of electric lights back then, so you're not going to see this happening at 9 o'clock at night. Okay? So you got a room full of nice ladies, married probably. How fascinating is their sex life? Not at all. Got it? Not at all. Okay. Got a room full of them. They're all sitting there. And she produces Joseph. And she says, judge me if you want to, but look at this boy first. If there's one guy in the whole Bible that I would like to meet, it's Joseph. Because I'm going to tell you, that boy had the genes. That boy had the looks. His mother was a beauty. His father, when challenged to deceive his own father for the heritage, said, but my father will know it's me because I am a smooth man. You're not a woman. You don't understand how sexy that is. I am a smooth man? Are you kidding me? Right, Zay? Is that funny or what?
Yeah, maybe Zay can verify, perhaps.
Zay, every woman on here knows I am a smooth man. Okay, son. Okay. So along comes this woman. She tries to seduce him. He says, no, thank you. She says, that's right. And how did they, ladies, how did they introduce Rachel, his mother? The first descriptor for Rachel, his mother, she was fair. F-A-I-R. That is 17th century English for beautiful. Okay? So you've got a beautiful woman and a smooth man. What kind of a kid are you going to get? He's not going to be all hairy and ugly, I'll tell you that right now. All right. So they get Joseph and they show him to all the ladies in the room. And what did the ladies do? Zay, you better know the answer to this. All you Muslims, you better step up now. What did those women do when the captain's wife brought Joseph in? That's right. That's exactly right.
Shout out Momo IT and Zay IT. That's Momo IT right there, jumping in.
That.
Oh, we got little connection as well. TRPIT chiming in as well. Let me see if we can get this connection back up. All right, there we go.
Yeah, but it's under 20%. So
oh, okay. I think you'll have enough battery for it because we only have 9 minutes
You're not
left.
looking at it, son. Shut up.
I gotta know your phone. You know, I'm just saying.
You don't know my phone, dude. This is an iPhone 6.
Whew.
It's only a 16 gig iPhone 6. And Lupe bought it for me back in the day. And I am not getting rid of it. It's going to the other side with me, babe. Now, I don't know. I hope it's plugged in. But yeah, she's right. What they did was start saying, ooh, ah, and cutting their hands with the apple knives. Is that a scene from a humor film or what?
Crazy. Wow.
That's why I'm saying same stories cropping up in different supposedly separate religions. They're not at all. And the ones that come with the interesting pictures and the good laughs are going to stick. All right? And that happens with our flows too. So I say, get that laughter going. Now, the guy who when I was studying metaphysics back in the 70s, one of the things that we were taught is that laughter is so healing that there was actually a big old fat Buddhist monk. People would bring him their animals that had like a broken leg or something, and all he would do is stand there and laugh at that animal, and the animal would be healed. So I went to looking this up today because yesterday I had that huge case of hysteria, and that's when I remembered Norman Cousins. Look up Norman Cousins. I think the same thing, the same affliction that Norman Cousins had when he wrote Anatomy of an Illness. Now, while I'm on this, I'm going to tell you a story that I've told to some people, and this story comes from my metaphysics group, which is called the Prosperos, named after the king Prospero from Shakespeare. And Thane, who was a great teacher who actually taught with or studied with Gurdjieff, G.I. Gurdjieff, and I actually got to study with Thane, and I got the blessing of Thane, where he actually said to me after a group of 150 people, he said, I was looking at you and I could see your energy. But anyway, during World War II, Hitler was trying to get as many powerful people to work for him as he could. So he was actually recruiting magicians, astrologers, all kinds of scientists, anything he could get. And Thane had this massive reputation at that point for, he was a truth seeker, and he had studied with Gurdjieff. So he had a big reputation as a metaphysician. And Hitler tried to recruit him. Oh no, am I already 7 minutes left?
We have 5 now, probably less than 5, but no.
Okay, Hitler tried to recruit him, and Thane's response to Hitler was, "Go to hell." So Thane got thrown into the dungeon in Nuremberg. All right, and while he was down in the dungeon, they would torture people every day. Thane ended up with all 4 limbs broken, and one day he could hear them coming, because every day they would come at the same time. They torture everybody before they got to his cell, and he could hear the screams and everything. And something happened when they opened the door to Thane's cell. Thane's awareness shot up out of his body and shot way, way, way up high, and looked down and started laughing. And Thane started laughing, and Thane fell into hysterics, and he could not stop laughing. And the Nazis came in. Now, hysterics means you're laughing and crying at the same time. I've had it before, and I knew it was protective, and now I know even more about it, because as you're crying, your tears are pulling the poisons out of your body. Don't ever forget it. And as you're laughing, you're also healing yourself, and you're healing your mind. And he laughed and laughed and laughed, and while he was laughing, he couldn't feel any pain. The Nazis could not figure out what the hell to do with him. They picked him up and threw him onto a freight train. And when as long as that freight train, as long as he was in hysterics, he never felt any pain. When he crossed the border, and they came and they said, "We've crossed the border. Now we're in Switzerland. We're out of Austria." When his mentality came back around to the fact of the political map and the borders, the pain came back. The pain came back. Okay? We build borders all around ourselves, okay? We define ourselves in borders. We put our gods in little fences. Really, you have a god that's going to stay behind your little fence? Guess what? What if your god sneaks out and goes and hangs out with other gods? What are you going to do then? Okay? Folks, get over the little fences. Okay?
I think that's probably one of the most succinct and beautiful ways to really bring this whole conversation. It's not even a conversation. It's more so
No,
just
shut up. read you a flow.
Oh, okay, for sure. We just let you know we got.
Hold on.
I wanted to cut off in this beautiful, succinct
Aries,
way. Okay,
Aries,
go ahead.
Aries, cockbox, Eros. Psyche's wailing fades too. Its obscurities relapse. We fans get to tap our celebrity synapse, and that's how we take a dopamine bath, a glowing electric aftermath, that internal light show, embraced by a face that we don't even know, but we recognize the voice, those eyes, making us feel wise, chanting bars, our catechism, absorbing the aphorisms, maybe true, maybe not, maybe baby blue and hot. Our lyrics dance ephemeral, elocuted to evaporate. Sunlight, starlight, smile bright, radiate. Emanate, emulate the night blooming Sirius, a 1 hour flower, soaking into the curious, truth strangled by power. Locked in a duel, circumscribed by time, burning fear for fuel, encoded by rhyme. Aries, cockblocks Eros, Psyche's wailing fades too, its obscenities relapse. A ski lift for Lou at Celebrity Zoo. Okay, now you can tell me goodbye.
Oh my gosh. Please, everybody.
We're all in our celebrity zoo with our little cages around us, trying to protect ourselves.
That was absolutely beautiful. And I cannot thank you enough for every single minute and every single just granular section of knowledge. This wasn't a conversation. This wasn't a podcast. This wasn't an episode. This was an experience for so many people. And I really am so thankful and grateful and an honor to have this interaction with you. And
I'm grateful. I'm in deep gratitude, you know.
Deep, and that's a lesson.
Huh?
And that was a lesson. It was deep gratitude for me, for everybody, and it's just, again, experiencing and having gratitude for all things.
I planted some of the seeds that I've collected over the last 50 years. I hope I planted those seeds, and I hope if you start to feel them causing arguments in yourself, that you will call me up and waste another 2 hours with me, because we'll sort that shit out. You know we will. You know we will.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Freestyle Friday. My name is GregNWMN. We do this every week, Freestyle Friday. This week was a special, a 2-piece episode. We're going to have this episode in full on our IGTV and on our YouTube. Please also take the moment out to also follow Shep IR and ensure that, you know, you show her maximum love for the time that she spent sharing all of her wisdom and all of her knowledge. So either way,
they call me Shep Diggity. Shep
Diggity. That's exactly it. So
everybody, if you want to be on Twitter, it's Mom.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. Sorry. Say it one more time. You said Shep Diggity and Mom what?
Mom Shep 2.
Mom Shep 2, fantastic.
Number 2. Okay.
And the number 2. All right, fantastic. Everyone have an amazing and safe day and safe evening.
Hip hop didn't save my life. Hip hop saved my soul. That's what.
I'm gonna end it right there. That's perfect. That's so perfect. Okay. All right, y'all. Take care of yourself. Peace.
Peace.